Okay, greetings everybody. So right now, in the simulation, we've gotten uh, the values of the acceleration for each of the masses. I showed you how to enter in the formula for 1 over m and drag it down. So now we have these two columns. We have 1 over mass, 1 over m, and we have acceleration. So we're going to graph a versus 1 over m. And remember, the default to Excel is first column is the x, and the second is the y. Okay, so how do we graph these? Well, now just watch very carefully. It's not difficult, but you just want to pay attention. I'm going to take the two columns that I want to graph, and I want the column headers. I just don't want the numbers. I want to include cells I5 and J5. So right here, I'm in I5. I select the two columns. Now I go up to Insert, and I want here charts. Okay, and so you click on the little down arrow, and I want this one here. I want scattered with smooth lines. And notice the default graph immediately pops up. But now we want to format it according to my specifications. So I'm going to take the default graph, and notice it's linear, by the way. I'm going to take the default graph that popped up, and I want to make it big enough so that when you turn it in, I can read it without any difficulty. You know, and that looks pretty good right there. And now notice right now you should have this quick layout because I don't want the Excel default. That's not what I want. So I'm going to go ahead and do quick layout. I'm going to click here, and I want this first one. And now notice Excel now gave me this. Now a couple of things here, we don't want. So this line right here, I'm going to select that, just delete. Okay, I'm going to left click the mouse on those lines, hit the delete key. I don't want those lines. Um, the title I can leave, I'm going to change it. Now, we want to use standard scientific fonts and scientific formatting. So I now need to format the axes. And so I'm going to left click with the mouse, the left button, right when I have the arrow, and now notice I've got that box. Now, when I have the arrow, right click, format axis. Uh, Max and min look good. Um, Now the major unit, uh, I probably want the major unit. Point 0.1 is good. I want the minor unit. I don't want 0.02. I want 0.05. I'm just over here with the minor unit. Then click outside for a second. Okay. Then format axis again. I didn't have to click outside. Um, Tick marks. I want um, I want major and minor, and I want them inside. And see, notice on the graph it automatically put the tick marks. Okay. Um, Let me look at. I want to go now to the fill line, and notice here color for the line. The Excel default is this gray. We want black. We want to be able to see it. Okay, and we're going to do the same for the x-axis. Um, that looks good. Now I want the font. Um, I don't know. I don't see it. So I'm going to go back over here to the graph. And when I see now I have the arrow, I'm going to right click again. Font. Right there. Font. 9 is probably a little bit small. Let's do let's do 10 or 11. Let me try 11. 11 is good. And we want, again, color, make sure it's black. And the standard font is Times New Roman. If you type in TIM, then you go and click Times New Roman. And that's good. Actually, my font size, I'm going to go back. That's a little bit too large. I want to go font. I want 10, not 11. Okay. Everything else is good. We'll do the title lead. Now let me do the same thing for the x-axis. I'm going to left click and see it's selected, then right click. I'm going to do Format Axis. Let's see. Maximum, obviously, 0.03. Minimum, the major. 0.005 is good. And then that everything looks good. Tick marks, we want major and minor inside. Oops. Oh, I'm having trouble with my. There we go. That looks good. Now remember, we got to go to fill. Again, the default Excel has these crazy defaults which are not very functional. We wanted that. Now notice we can see. Then go down here again. Right click, font. I want it black. I want it 10. And I want it Times New Roman. Type in TIM. It shows up at the bottom. Select it. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So now we've got the tick marks and the numerical values formatted. Now let me go ahead and do the title. Remember, the y-axis is A. I'm going to go here, title. Actually, before I do, let me click outside. Let me go here. Let me go back to click out one. Right click, Format Axis, and then I believe over here. I think it's this one. Yeah. This is for the title, that box there. The vertical alignment, I want it middle center. Now text direction, I want it. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I'm going to click on the axis title. I misspoke. I'm done with the numbers. I go ahead and click on the axis title, then vertical alignment, center middle, text direction, horizontal. See how it flipped it? Okay, now I'm going into the axis title. I select it. I want the font to be Times New Roman. Type in TIM. There it is. I want the size to be, you can go up to home. I want the size to be 11. Okay. The color, you just got, it's a little bit tedious. We want the color to be black. Okay. Now, remember, the acceleration is going on the y-axis. So now, because in that where that text is highlighted, I'm going to type in A for acceleration, then left parenthesis, because we want the units. The unit are a meter, so M / meter per second squared, and then close parentheses. Okay. Now I need the 2 to be. Oops. I got to go back in here. I clicked out right here. I want the 2 to be superscript. So I'm going to select it. Then go up here to font, this little drop down arrow, and superscript, and do OK. See, now it says the unit is A and it's meters per second squared. Now let's go ahead and format the x-axis. Well, again, highlight it. Font, remember, Times New Roman. I want it to be 11. I want it to be black. And then remember, the x-axis is 1 over m. Remember doing A versus 1 over m. So I'm going to type in left parenthesis, then 1/m, close parentheses. And then the units are kilogram, kg, and then to the -1. So I'm going to do an insert symbol, go to the minus sign, and do insert, close, and then 1. because it's 1 over m is it is an inverse kilogram. Then I'm going to highlight just the -1, and that has to be superscript. Go back to home font, this arrow here, and superscript. And hold on, somebody's calling me. Let me pause this video. Okay, so now notice I formatted the numbers. I formatted the axis titles. Now let me go ahead, and we're going to get to the slope now. Let me go ahead and format the actual title. Oops, let me hit undo. I want it right in the center. And for the title, I probably want 14 is good. We want Times New Roman. That's the standard font. We probably want bold. Make it black. And now the title is going to be, you type in A versus left parenthesis 1 over m right parenthesis. And then the title, this is for Newton's second law. And typically with the title, we italicize the key variables A and M. And now for Newton's second law, I want the ND to be superscript. So now title is good. We got the axis titles. So now all we need to do is I need to tell Excel, get me the slope of this line, because we know that the slope of that line is going to be the experimental or the Excel that calculate the actual value of the applied force. Because remember, if you graph with Newton's second law, if you graph A versus 1 over m, the slope of that graph is F, the applied force. Well, let me go ahead and save this video, and then the third one I'll walk you through how to get the slope.